Hello everybody, my name's Audrey and I'm an art education coordinator at the Art Gallery of Algoma. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some beautiful creations using some supplies that you might already have at home. In this video we'll be using coffee filters to create colorful butterflies and dancers in a style that looks very similar to tie-dye. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the coffee filter butterflies. The things you will need to create them will be coffee filters. For each butterfly you will need 2 coffee filters, washable markers in a variety of colors, a cup of water, a small measuring spoon, a paper plate or tray which will be used for dyeing the filters in order to contain your mess, a pencil, a pair of scissors, some pipe cleaners. The ones that I'm using here are 12 inches long and you will need 1 pipe cleaner per butterfly, and a separate tray for drying. Let's begin! The first thing you're going to want to do is flatten out your coffee filters. They don't have to be perfectly flat, you'll still have some slight creases, but this will make it much easier to color them with marker. Next, select the colors that you wish to use for your butterfly. I recommend choosing colors that are in the same family. You may wish to work in only warm colors like red, orange, and yellow, or only cool colors like green, blue, and violet. Another option is to use an analogous color scheme. This means that you're using 3 colors that are found next to each other on the color wheel. You can have a lot of fun experimenting and trying out different color combinations. Be mindful that if you cover your entire coffee filter with a random mix of dark colors, it may turn out a grayish or brownish color when the colors run together. As you can see on the sample I have here, a variety of random colors were used, which ended up making the bottom of the wings a bit gray looking. For this one, I decided to make a rainbow, but rather than putting the colors anywhere, I drew them in rings from the center. This helped to blend them together without turning gray. So if you wish to use a lot of different colors, just remember that your placement of those colors will make a difference when it comes to the final result. Now you'll take 2 coffee filters stacked on top of each other and begin coloring designs on the top one. You'll notice that the color will seep through the top filter onto the one underneath once you add water, so you'll get the same pattern on each. You don't have to get too fancy with the patterns you draw, since we'll be wetting the filters with water anyways so that the colors will run into each other. If you're looking to create something super bright and colorful, I recommend coloring the majority of the filter so that you don't have much white space left. However, if you're looking for a more faded pastel look, you might wish to leave more white space. It's all up to you. Next, take your measuring spoon and drop a bit of water onto the colored filters. You'll want to get the filters completely wet, but it's best to drop the water a little bit at a time. This way you can watch as the colors slowly spread together and your water won't start pooling on the surface. Keep in mind that the more water you add, the longer it will take to dry. Now that you're finished with this step, your coffee filters may still be sitting in a bit of water. To speed up the drying process, transfer them to a separate dry tray. They can take a few hours to dry, or you may even have to leave them overnight depending on how wet they are. Once your coffee filters have dried, you can separate them and you'll see how the pattern looks quite similar on each. Now, take 1 coffee filter and fold it back and forth in an accordion style, with each fold roughly ½ an inch wide. If you've ever made a paper fan, it's really the same technique. You'll find that after the filters have been dyed, they lose the creases and flatten out a bit, which is perfect for folding. Do the same folding process with the second filter. Once you have finished folding, you should have 2 strips that look something like this. Place 1 strip on top of the other, and select a pipe cleaner that you wish to use for the body and antenna of your butterfly. Take your pipe cleaner, fold it in half, and wrap it around the center of your folded strips so that the ends point upwards into the shape of a V. Be sure to twist it tightly enough so that it stays in place. You may also want to trim the ends of your pipe cleaner a bit with a pair of scissors. Now take the ends of your pipe cleaner and curl them outwards. An easy way to do this is to take a pencil and wrap the pipe cleaner around it, but you can also just use your fingers. Finally, pull apart the folds in your coffee filter and check out the beautiful creation you've made. Now we'll move on to the coffee filter dancers. For these dancers you will need all of the same supplies as the butterflies, but in addition you will need some mini elastic bands. I find that rainbow loom bands work perfectly, but any small elastics will work. For each dancer, you will need 2 coffee filters. You can just use 1 coffee filter per dancer, but I find that the dresses look much fuller if you use 2, and this allows the dancers to stand on their own. You could even try using 3 if you're looking to get really fancy. Here are some examples of ones which I use 3 coffee filters for. For this tutorial, I'll only be using 2, but it's not difficult to add on another. The process of dyeing the coffee filters for the dancers is the exact same as it was for the butterflies, so if you're interested in making both projects, I'd recommend dyeing them at the same time. To recap, the first step is flattening out the coffee filters and drawing on patterns with marker. Again, I'm using colors that are in the same color family, and just like we did with the butterflies, stacking 2 coffee filters on top of each other at a time in order to make the same design on both. After you've finished with your patterns, drop the water on slowly with a spoon and watch as the colors spread. Transfer the wet coffee filters to a separate tray to let them dry. Once your coffee filters have dried completely, you can begin on the bodies of your dancers. To do this, take a pipe cleaner and fold it in half gently, but be sure not to pinch it tightly, as you want to leave a little space for the head of the dancer. Place your second pipe cleaner just below the neck of your dancer and twist it around a couple of times to create the arms and body of your dancer. You can continue winding until your arms are the desired length, or you can simply trim off the excess pipe cleaner in order to shorten them. Bend the 2 ends of the pipe cleaner at the bottom to create the feet of your dancer. Now we'll begin on the dress. Separate your coffee filters. Take the first one, fold it in half, and continue folding until it's about this size. Now, take your scissors and cut off a tiny portion of the tip. This will be the hole for the head of our dancer. Be sure to cut off a very small amount, as you'll find that the hole is actually much bigger when you open up the coffee filter again. You can always cut the hole a little bigger if necessary, but you can't make it smaller if you cut it too big in the first place, so just be mindful of this. Next, unfold the coffee filter until it's just folded in half, and cut 2 small slits about 1/4 of an inch away from the hole in the center. These will serve as the holes for the arms of our dancer. With the second coffee filter, follow the same folding process and cut a hole in the center once again. This time you won't need holes for the arms, just one for the feet to go through. Now, bring the arms of your doll up over its head and carefully slide them through the holes you've cut. Gently pull the head through as well, and pull the coffee filter down over the body. Bunch the coffee filter around the dancer in the shape of a dress and wrap your tiny elastic band around the waist of your dancer. This helps to keep the dress in place, and it also looks like a little belt. Take the second coffee filter, carefully slide the feet through the hole, and push the dress up the waist of the doll. I like to use another elastic band to hold the dress in place. If you've decided to use 3 coffee filters instead of 2, simply slide another on before tying the elastic band. Adjust the dress and bend the arms however you'd like. The fun thing is that you can change the arm shape whenever you please. The dancer should now be able to stand on its own. And there we have it! I absolutely love how these turned out. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you were able to follow along. If you liked it, please hit the like button and consider following the Art Gallery of Algoma if you're not already. We have some exciting stuff coming up. Thank you so much for watching.